Over the last decade, Obsidian Entertainment have proven themselves as one of the most capable developers in the business. In 2010, they released Fallout New Vegas, revealing the talents of the studio in crafting worlds full of choice and consequence. 2014 saw the release of South Park: The Stick of Truth, a title that captured the essence of South Park and released to critical acclaim. The following year, Obsidian released Pillars of Eternity, perhaps their most ambitious title, and the result of a considerable Kickstarter campaign. The studio has emerged as something of a rarity in today's industry, a developer that is thoroughly committed to single-player narrative-driven experiences. 2019's The Outer Worlds continues in this tradition, a testament to the studio's ability to create compelling characters and choice-driven worlds. Set in the year 2355, in this futuristic world, megacorporations fight for control of entire planets, each of them answerable to an organization known as the Board.
Only the Board.
You've been flagged by the Board. To the Board.
In the opening moments of the game, you're awoken by the scientist Phineas Wells, a man on the run who is committed to the overthrow of the Board. Much like in Fallout New Vegas, players are greeted with an extensive suite of options to customize their character. Players can choose their attributes, which remain fixed throughout the game, as well as their initial skills, which can be increased upon leveling up. As such, The Outer Worlds allows for a solid range of character builds, with the dialogue and charm focus proving my personal favourite.
You know what? You're right.
Although parallels with the Fallout series are difficult to avoid, The Outer Worlds is a distinctive experience. This title is smaller in scope and guides players through a series of experiences, rather than allowing the player complete freedom from the very beginning. Players can expect to complete the story in about 10 to 15 hours, with this playtime being stretched to beyond 20 to 25 hours if exploration is more thorough. This is by no means a criticism of the game, however. The Outer Worlds moves at a great pace and never outstays its welcome, introducing new locations and story beats in manageable chunks. The game guides players through a series of planets in the Halcyon system, each requiring the player to make decisions that will hinder the Board or maintain the status quo. It is in these political or moral dilemmas that The Outer Worlds really shines, with player agency and Obsidian's writing talent on full display.
You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's choice.
The game features an impressive cast of well-written characters, each of which add texture to the world and make it feel more alive.
Never thought I'd be ecstatic at having the walls painted in blood, but seeing as it's not mine, I'd say this calls for a celebration.
This extends to the companion system, with 6 available for the player to call on for aid while exploring Halcyon. Players can choose to explore with up to 2 of these companions at one time, with each providing a unique companion ability that can be used in combat. While a greater variety of companion options in combat would have been welcome, these abilities do provide some visual flair. Companions each have their own storylines that the player can delve into. The storylines of Pavadi and Vicar Max were particularly interesting, and at times surprising. Obsidian has done an admirable job in making the companions interesting characters that are worth investing in. Regardless of how players set up their character build, much of their time will be spent in combat. Players are strictly limited to the first-person perspective in the Outer Worlds and can have up to 4 weapons equipped at one time. These weapons feature a range of elemental effects, including corrosion and shock. While the gunplay does not reinvent the wheel, it is certainly solid, allowing for encounters that feel smooth and engaging for the most part. The Outer Worlds also includes a tactical time dilation feature, a mechanic operating in a very similar way to VATS and Fallout. Using this allows the player to slow time and be more precise with their shots, while also revealing enemy weaknesses. While this is a welcome feature, I found that the core gunplay was good enough that I didn't rely on it, as I often was on VATS in Fallout New Vegas. On normal difficulty, the Outer Worlds pose minimal challenge, with many combat encounters feeling like mere formalities. By the mid-game, the range and strength of weapons available overpowered most enemies. While this feeling of being strong in all areas was satisfying at first, it did result in a loss of identity in terms of my specific character. Instead of being a specialist in 1 or 2 skills, I felt I'd nearly mastered most of them, without having really earned that right. In my 30 or so hours playing the game, I also experienced very few bugs, and was impressed with how polished the experience felt in general. Obsidian has come a long way since the launch of Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, I guess we're doing that, aren't we? Crewing together, seeing the stars. It's like something out of a serial.
At the conclusion of the experience, The Outer Worlds leaves players with a montage of how their various decisions have impacted the game world. As I watched my montage, I felt as if I'd been an active participant rather than a mere observer in this world, helping to shape and influence it. I was left very impressed with a game that had been consistently engaging and had never outstayed its welcome, providing a cast of well-written characters in a diverse and interesting world. While The Outer Worlds does not reinvent the wheel, it is built on solid foundations that have been a proven success in their previous titles. When it comes to single-player story-driven experiences, Obsidian have once again proven that they're among the best in class.
Now, if we're done with the chit-chat, I hope you don't mind if I make the most of this short life and try to be the best moon person I can be.